Hello everyone. Well, last time we described the process of photosynthesis, the chemical reaction that plant cells use in order to capture and store energy in the form of food. So, how is photosynthesis related to consumers, like humans? Consumers need to use the chemical energy stored in the food by plants to fuel the everyday activities of our cells and bodies. Activities like moving, thinking, and growing. Tonight, we will focus on a second chemical reaction. That second chemical reaction is called cellular respiration. This chemical reaction is the process of breaking down food and releasing the energy stored in the food's chemical bonds. So, how does this breakdown of food occur? Well, just like we could describe the process of photosynthesis using a chemical equation, we can also describe cellular respiration using a chemical equation. So let's begin as we did before by considering the ingredients that cells must have in order to begin the process of cellular respiration. First, of course, we must start with some food. After all, this process is the breakdown of the food molecule to get the energy out. So, we've got some C6H12O6, or in words, one glucose molecule. We get this glucose from the food we eat, and it is the bonds of this molecule that contain the energy that we are trying to release. The other starting ingredient we need in order to make this reaction happen is 6O2, or in words, 6 molecules of oxygen. We get this oxygen from inhaling. Oops, where's my pen? Here we go. This oxygen we get from inhaling it from the atmosphere around us. All right, so we've got our food molecule with its locked up energy and our oxygen. So now the enzymes in our cells are ready to break this molecule down. The product we want, the whole goal of cellular respiration, is, of course, energy. In this case, the energy that we are going to get is going to be in the form of the molecule ATP. This ATP is the energy that the cell will use to perform hundreds of different functions. So, as our cells are breaking down the glucose to make ATP, they also create some byproducts. The first byproduct is 6CO2, or in words, 6 molecules of carbon dioxide. Now, something interesting about this process is that the carbon dioxide, which we saw earlier that producers actually require for survival, for consumers, this carbon dioxide is toxic. What this means is that we have to get rid of it quickly after it is made as a byproduct of cellular respiration. So we do that by exhaling it so that it is no longer a danger to our bodies. The other byproduct that is made is 6H2O, or in words, 6 water molecules. Although these 6 water molecules were not the intended product, they're not toxic like the CO2, and so your cells can use the water for whatever it needs to. Okay, there you have it, the summary chemical equation that describes how we get the energy out of the food we eat. So let's talk a little bit more about the process of cellular respiration. First, just like in photosynthesis, enzymes are needed for the reactions of cellular respiration. In photosynthesis, enzymes were building up the glucose molecule. But now in cellular respiration, the enzymes are going to be responsible for breaking down the glucose molecule. This process of breaking down the glucose molecule occurs in two steps, or phases. The first phase occurs in the cytoplasm of the cell. In the picture in the background, that is everything that is colored in yellow. In this first phase, the breakdown of the glucose molecule begins. This breakdown releases a little bit of energy because it's an incomplete breakdown of the molecule. But the benefit is that it does not yet require oxygen to start. So in the first phase, we get to start to break down this glucose molecule a little bit. We get a little bit of energy out. But in the case where you might not be getting enough oxygen, let's say in high intensity exercise, you can still start and get a little bit of energy out of the breakdown of glucose. However, in order to complete the process of cellular respiration and get all the possible energy out of the glucose molecule, we need a second phase. In the second phase, the now partially broken down glucose molecules go into the mitochondria. You can see some of those here, and here, and throughout the picture. Okay, so these partially broken down glucose molecules are going to go into the mitochondria, and here the mitochondria are going to complete the breakdown of the glucose. And in the process, they will release a lot of energy. However, this process of completing the breakdown of glucose does require oxygen to occur. Finally, when the mitochondria finish releasing the energy from the glucose, the cell must get rid of the CO2, which is created as a byproduct. And this will happen when you exhale. All right, that's it for now. We'll investigate this process of cellular respiration further tomorrow in class. See you then.